A historic California task force met for the first time Tuesday with the ultimate goal of recommending reparations for descendants of enslaved people and those affected by slavery. The state is beginning to consider compensation and other potential remedies after the legislature and Governor Gavin Newsom approved a first-of-its-kind law last year that required the study and development of reparations proposals. You're here today not just to sit and answer to say was there harm, but your task is to determine the depth of the harm and the ways in which we are to repair that harm, Secretary of State Shirley Weber, who introduced the law last year as a state legislator, said to members of the task force on Tuesday. There has been enough research for the fact that slavery still has an impact today. The group is charged with determining what reparations should look like in California and who might be eligible, among other considerations. As our country reckons with our painful legacy of racial injustice, California again is poised to lead the way towards a more equitable and inclusive future for all, Newsom said. Why was the task force established? Assembly Bill 3121, which was introduced by Weber, mandated that the state create the task force to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans, with a special consideration for African Americans who are descendants of persons enslaved in the United States. Weber has said the law, which was signed in 2020, forces California to come to terms with its role in slavery. Although California entered the Union as a free state in 1850, slavery continued here though the state constitution outlawed it the previous year. Slavery was abolished by the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1865. The law says state-level reparations should not be seen as a replacement for any future remedies from the federal government. What will the group do? The law requires the task force to examine slavery that existed in the United States, discrimination in the public and private sectors against those who were enslaved and their descendants, and the lingering negative effects of the institution of slavery. The group is required to recommend ways to educate the public on its findings and to recommend remedies. The law says the task force will recommend how California will issue a formal apology, how to eliminate discrimination in existing state laws, and how to establish new programs, policies or projects to address the group's findings. The task force will also determine how any potential compensation should be calculated and who would be eligible, as well as additional forms of rehabilitation or restitution. Who is on the task force? The task force is made up of 9 members, with 5 appointed by the governor, 2 appointed by the Senate and 2 by the Assembly. Newsom's appointees, Assembly appointees. The task force is expected to hold 10 meetings in total over the next 2 years.